Hi guys, and welcome back to the Black Country Man Cave. Just a quickie this time round. So I'm doing a project and I need to cut some steel. Now I have got a plasma cutter that will cut it absolutely no problem whatsoever. My only issue is I don't know how clean the cuts are going to be. Are they going to be clean enough? So I looked at getting a blade for my circular saw that will cut metal, ferrous metal. And I can get one for about 20 quid, but then when I shopped around I actually found I could get this with the blade for 50 quid, so it saves me having to keep swapping blades. So I'll have a look, fuck it, I'll treat myself. I've never bought Evolution before. This is the R165 CCSL, if that means anything. 165mm TCT multi-material cutting circular saw. Blades included, 1200 watt, 53mm max cut, 34mm at 45 degrees with a 3 meter cable, and it's 4.3 kilos. It feels heavier than that, I'll say. That definitely feels heavier than 4.5 kilos. Yeah, as a self-confessed, I'll get it right in a minute, self-confessed Makita fanboy, I thought I'll give this a go, and if it's crap I'll just take it back. Right, down to the table. Right, unboxing time. Who doesn't love a good unboxing? I will say this tape looks like it may have been opened before. I hadn't noticed that when I picked it up. I think that's been retaped, we shall see. No damage on the box there. Put your finger in that.
Oh, behave.
Right, here we go. I'm really hoping I'm not going to be disappointed with this, because I want it to be good at cutting metal, so I'm going to keep fighting about changing blades. That is a dust chute adapter. That's a nifty little touch, so you can change the different size hoses, but anything that's got that kind of size hose would be bloody useless. Perhaps that would probably fit a dust bag, to be fair, actually. And that one, I'm going to get screws on the side. Yeah, there's a couple of screws in there. Let's put that back in there so we don't lose it. It's got guide rail. Well, that feels quite good actually. Where are we there? That feels quite good. I will say it's not straight. I don't know if we can pick that up now. Gotta get the right angle, one sec. There we are. I'm trying to get that for you, hang on. Bear with me. What's that doing there? Ah, there we go. So this is not at 90 degrees to that, and it's very obvious that it's not. It's really difficult to show you on the camera. Where are we? There. Yeah, you can see it there. There's no way that's 45. Can just give it a bit of a tweak. I will say, this is what you get when you buy a Makita. It's quite a lot bigger, which is good, because quite often with the Makitas, the back of the guide is off the workpiece before you've completely finished the cut. It's only maybe 20mm if that, but it, don't help. But apart from not being square, that's okay. I can bend that back. That's not a problem. Let's have a look at the blade. Be interested to see how long that lasts. Mild steel, aluminium, wood and plastic. 14 tooth. 5,200 RPM. and it looks like it's got a kerf of 1.7mm, centre of 20mm. I was tempted to get a blade for, I've got a bigger Makita saw, the corded one, the 185mm, and I was tempted to try and get one of the blades for that, but I don't think the arbor's the same size, that bit, the bore, sorry. These are 20mm and that I think is a 30, so I will have a look at that. I have heard good things about these blades, but we're interested to see when I do a cut in a moment. Let's have a look at the saw. Yeah, I can't be honest, it does feel great in the hand, it feels substantial. Ooh, it's a hard start switch there, not a soft start, which I'm not a fan of, but because it'll just go thump. Oh, that's good. So the spring is inbuilt into there. It's not the strongest, but it does help stop ingress. There is a slight hole that it can get in there, but yeah, it's not bad. The plate feels quite good. There's a locking mechanism, there it is. That's good, nice and smooth, and you've got a built-in Allen key storage on the handle, and I actually quite like that. That's nice because if you're ever losing these, they fall out, and that looks like it's actually going to stay in there, because that obviously fits that nut to change the blade. I'm out of shot, so let's go over here a bit. Let's turn this way a bit. That's better. And then it's got a bevel adjustment on the side, on the front rather, and yeah, that feels alright. So one thing I will say is that this is the stop for the guide, and that feels quite flimsy, to be honest. Be interested to see how long that lasts. Anyway, right, let's get the blade in and do a cut. Right, let's see how easy this is. So, Allen key out, and let's put it up on its side. Obviously, when you're changing a blade, always make sure it's unplugged. So there's a spindle lock there. So yeah, there's a spindle lock there, that black lever which locks the motor, obviously, which locks this in turn. I'm going to assume it's, oh no, it's not. That's bad. No, that's bad. So generally on these saws, they tighten by going anti-clockwise, because as the saw rotates, it doesn't untighten in the nut. But that is just a standard one. So that's bad design. I just wanted a reverse thread nut on that, which, you know, surely didn't cost them any more. Right, so slip the collar off, pull the guide back, and make sure you've got the blade the correct orientation. So which way am I going? That way. Yeah, it is that way, isn't it? I had to think then, yeah. So the blade's going around that way, coming up and cutting upwards, as all circular saws do. So drop the collar back on and drop the nut back on. Tighten that up, push the stop in. Tighten that up nice and tight. Yeah, now as the blade spins that way, and if that's tight, it yeah, theoretically can unwind itself, because it's putting pressure on the nut that way. Yeah, I'll double check that on the other one later, but yeah, I think that ideally should have been the other way around. Maybe I'm wrong. Right, let's tighten that up. Okay. Put the port on. Phillips. So assume, yeah. Tighten that up. I'm not too sure what the point of that bit is really. I suppose I'm going to guess it's just for dust bags, because you wouldn't put a hose on that small because it wouldn't suck nothing, so it's a bit pointless, but right. Let's have a look at the instructions, which you should look at first, but we don't do that in the man cave. Tell you a load of specs. Junk, and all the bits. This is a uniform one for all the different sizes. So yeah, 185. That's the 185 centimeter diameter blades. Yeah, anyway, right. File that. Right, let's find a piece of metal to cut. Cut the very end of this. Right, let's get rid of that. Right, I'll put you on a different camera angle, excuse me. Let's get you on a wide shot. My big fat belly in the picture. 3 metre long lead. Let's have a look. Oh, that's pretty good. It reaches to the side of my workshop, so that ain't bad. Right, plug her in. And earmuffs, most important thing. Right, let's just do start her up now, see what she sounds like. So there's a safety button on the side. Hold that and pull the trigger. And normally with these saws that don't have the soft start on, it's normally quite a violent thing when it comes on. But that's not bad, I'm not really holding that. Right, let's do a cut. Oh, I have to say, I'm impressed with that. That's clean as anything, that is. Yeah, so I've got to cut some straight lines out of this. This will be another video. I'm shouting because I've got my earmuffs on. But yeah, I could do it with a plasma cutter. But I thought I'll use this and the guide. Or a straight edge. But yeah, that's clean as anything, that is. It's getting shut. Alright. Let's do a straight cut one. 2 seconds. Right, I don't know if you can see it, but what I've done is marked an 80mm line. I don't need this far end, so I'm not worried about that cut. I'm only going to be using about that much. So that's an 80mm line, and because this is a new store, I need to know what the offset of the shoe is. So before you touch anything, turn it off, and it is off. And then to measure the offset of the shoe, so this is the shoe, you need to measure from the outside of the shoe to the actual blade itself, which is the bit I'm pointing to now. Let me get you closer. Right, get you in shot. So when you look at a blade, there we go. Let's see if I can. So this part here, the actual main part of the blade, is actually thinner than the blade tip itself, and that is called kerf. Actually, this is fairly. It's not far out, it's minutely out. On wood blades, like this one, battery out, you'll find it's generally more noticeable that the teeth of the blade are ever so slightly wider than that plate. So anyway, so got to measure from where the actual tooth is to the outside of the shoe, and it is 32 millimeters. And well, how are we going to do that one? I might have to measure the other way. So what I'm going to be doing is cutting that way, so I need to allow for the blade to be on that side. It's not an ideal way to do it, but it's the easiest way for me to do it at the moment. So that is 34 mil. So all I've got to do now is mark 34 mil. And when you're marking something, always mark in at least 3 different places, even on a small piece like this. This pencil wants sharpening. There we go. 34. A straight line. The reason you'd always do 3 marks is because let's imagine that you've measured that one at your 34 mil and by mistake you've measured that one at 44 mil. If you do a centre mark and the 3 don't line up, you know that you've done one wrong. If they line up, you know they should be correct. Oh, there's the measurement, as the tape measurement, the ruler moves. Hang on. Right, try again. Okay. Right, so I've got a straight edge and a couple of F-clamps, and I'm going to clamp that on the back. Use the light on my drill just to check that, because the light in the man cave is coming at me and it's creating a shadow there. So yeah, that is pretty close. Finish it up. Right, the earmuffs on. Turn them on. And all I'm going to do is make sure that this is rested against the guide. Let's see if I can weight that down with something. Just going to weight that down just to stop it moving. Push them against there. And then there is a line on here. I don't know, you won't be able to see it, but it does show you where. Well, wait, it does show you where 0 and 45-degree cuts are. So I'm going to assume that the blade is the teeth are either side of that line, so that is the actual line that it cuts on, which would tally up with what I've got here. So here we go. Now then, this shows that you should wear protection, because that is splinters off that. I've actually cut my arm. Look at that. There we go. You can see it there, tiny. Right. Well, that's not good. Now I have got glasses on, as you can see, so that's protecting my eyes, but really using one of these, you want a full face mask like that. And I will be using one of them from now on, definitely. Yeah, look at that. It's not good. Yeah, you can see. Let's see if I get any shot on my arm. The little tiny splinters of metal that have shot up out of it. Right, let's just make sure I get all them bits out. There you go. Man down in the man cave. Right. That's the first time that's ever happened to you, mate. I can't get the camera angle. That's the first time that's ever happened to me. Right, anyway, let's have a look at the cut. And you can let me adjust the camera. So you can see, if I get it close enough, the pencil line, and in fairness that is very straight indeed. It's not perfect, I will say. That side's pretty good, the underside. It has chipped it out ever so slightly on the top, and there is a bit of a dink there, but yeah, not bad for 50 quid. I'll rub that end down with a bit of sandpaper or a sanding disc or something, or a file. Yeah, I might pop it in the voice and give it a file. 2 seconds. Just pop it in. Yeah, so definitely need to wear a long sleeve top when you're using this. Get that in nice and tight. Not bad. Straight enough for what I need. I wonder if YouTube will stop the video because of this. I bet. You wait and see. I'm going to clean it up properly. 2 seconds. Right, I've had to resort to builder's plaster. Bit of masking tape because it won't stop bleeding, but I have given it a squeeze. I don't think there's anything left in there, so I think we'll live, hopefully. But yeah, that has come out really good actually. Just a tiny bit of filing. In fairness, if I got this clamped down, the workpiece clamped down a bit better, or on some scrap blocks, then I could do it in one continuous cut, and it'd probably be even cleaner. Also, if I lower the blade, that might make it even cleaner still. And I'll get a tape measure. So I marked 80mm, and that is, as near as makes no odds, 80mm. Tape straight. It is there. It's about 1/4 of a mil out, but that's as near as you need to be. So yeah, pleased with that. Right, so now I'm going to clean up this end and just square it off for now. I will cut it to proper length later on, so I've got my engineer's square. Where's my pencil gone? Pencil, there it is. So let's just whip that off the end. And since I don't want shredded arms anymore, even though it is roasting hot, you might be able to hear my fan in the background. In fact, I'm going to turn that off. Probably wrecked my audio, but never mind. I'm going to put my favourite Man Cave hoodie on. Check the wig. Show off the logo. Right, let's bring you back down here. I'm definitely putting this on. Let's give him a quick clean. This is the mask I use for when I do wood turning, which I haven't done any on, but it'll do for now. I always feel like Darth Vader when I'm wearing this. The force is strong in this one. That was a terrible impression. Right, let's get this out of the way. Shall I have a go at freehanding that? Why not? Let's have a go. So, where are we going to be going? I will say that this is left-handed, or the blade's on the right. So generally you would look from that side and hold it in your left hand. Well, I would anyway. Actually, no, I think that's designed to go that side, but that means that you are looking through all of this gubbins here where your blade is if you are cutting freehand. Whereas with a saw gun, when I'm cutting with this one, and obviously I'm right-handed, I can operate my lever like that. Let's take the blade out. So if I am doing a freehand cut, I'm looking down from this side and I can see the blade clear as day. Let's hold it so there we are. You'd be looking down like that, so you'd see the front of the blade. Where am I? Front of the blade this side. Much easier when you're right-handed. As you can see, is the opposite way around. Well, you get used to it. To be fair, I've had saws of both sides over the years. Right, so let's clamp this down. Be strong enough. Put it on a sacrificial block. I am roasting in this jumper now. Right, also what I'm going to do, turn that off a sec, is I'm going to flip up the lever and I'm going to cut as shallow as I can. And see how that cuts it. So theoretically it should cut cleaner. Should do a scribe cut. Try it. Right. Turn her on. Mask on. I can't see the line, I can't see back to the blade, which is crap basically. I'll have to do it a different way. Wipe the ride out. Right, I'll do it left-handed then, and I'm going to do it on the side now. I don't really want to be this side because I'm going to assume that there's going to be a lot more chip out. Yeah, I felt that on my hand then. It doesn't cut it, but that cut's terrible. I need to clean that up. Right, I'm not happy with that. Let's I'm going to use an old trick of using my square as my guide. I'll put my earmuffs on as well. And what I'm going to do is offer that up to there with one hand and cut with the other. I'm going to have to drop the blade down because it's shit like that. Doesn't work. That's quite stiff, I will say, actually, when you've locked it in place, or is it just me being a gorilla? Right, earmuffs on. Let's go for a sec. Yeah, don't know if you can see it. Little tiny splinters. You definitely need gloves and PPE. There we go. That's actually stuck in my thing, my hand there. Right. Can't see it, but. Yeah, so you definitely need all your PPE with this stuff. How's that little square? Not in the slightest. Definitely some little niggles to work out on this, how to cut with it best, and not too sure about that. Cut's nice, cut's clean. It's not ridiculously noisy. You need earmuffs, but it's not ridiculously noisy. Let's have a look at the cut on the timber. Let's have a look. I'm going to say that. Where are we? We're up here. Pretty clean. That's actually very clean. Right, I'm going to do a cut with just the timber. 2 seconds. Just bring you back down here. I'll show you how I'll do this with this saw. In a perfect world, you'd want this on a sacrificial bench, but I just don't have the room for that at the minute in the man cave. I'm going to grab a rafter square instead as well. These rafter squares are a bit easier to use on stuff like this. And obviously, because I'm right-handed, I hold the saw in my right hand and use your saw like that. So let's imagine I'm cutting the end of the board like so. cuffs on. So you would offer that up, and I know that the cut on this is it's actually there, but it doesn't really matter. But I'd line that up, put my headset on, offer the square up to the edge of the saw, and the line is now here on there. Hold and pull that in place. Right, so that cut, where is it? That one. Which one is it? Yeah, it's that one. Is it's perfect and perfectly square. So that's a user after square for that. I've got to say, with this being on the other side, it's a little bit fiddly, but I suppose. Where's my square gone? I suppose I could do it that way. Yeah, just a bit weird using it left-handed. It's clearly designed to be right, but yeah. Suppose I could do that, yeah. No, because it won't. No, because it won't clear that. Never mind. Anyway. I'll wait back up here. Right, I've got to say, let's unplug him. I've got to say, 50 quid. You can't argue with that. Definitely need your PPE. So, mask, gloves, long sleeve, ear defenders, and yeah, sorry, and obviously a full mask, not just glasses. But yeah, it cuts pretty clean. Pretty pleased with that. There's a straight edge which edges it. Oh, it's that one. Yeah, the edges are that clean you can't even tell, so it's a pretty clean edge with only a minute amount of filing. So yeah, apart from it being left-handed, I'm going to give that a thumbs up. 50 quid, that's well worth it, and I'm definitely going to keep it, because some folks take them back after they've used them, but I don't do that. No, I don't, honestly. Right, anyway, yeah, that's good. So, as always guys, thank you for watching. It's a bit of a weird video. I've kind of tried to do it as one big long take and not edit it as much as I can, which hopefully I haven't edited this yet, but hopefully I'm going to stick to that and not edit too much out. Just waffling on and enjoying it basically. So yeah, thank you again for watching. If you haven't already, please consider hitting the like and the subscribe button, and maybe leaving me I'm going to do that bit again. Okay guys, so thank you very much again for watching. If you've not already, please consider hitting the like and the subscribe button, and maybe leave me a nice comment down below. Maybe tell me what you want me to do next, what you'd like me to review next, any ideas for videos. I'm really enjoying this process. It's taking its while to pick up, not gonna lie, but then I'm not posting regular enough, and I know that. But anyway, so from me, Mark, in the Black Country Man Cave, have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next video. Bye for now.